We made it. It's a little surreal. Well, knock on wood, but it's Friday the 13th, and it's yet to show its superstitious effects. Now, you all may be thinking otherwise. You're listening to another graduation speech, so I think you all deserve a gold star for going through this. It goes for faculty and staff. They're here every year. It goes for parents who's watching their student graduate for about the 47th time now. Good evening and welcome. My name is Trey Thomason, and I have had the pleasure and honor of being a part of this class for the past 4 years. First, I would just like to thank you all for coming. For some, this is an every year event. For others, this is the first time to ever attend a medical school graduation. Regardless, administration, faculty, and staff, we appreciate you for taking the time out to attend this most special evening with our class. You've seen this before and you've heard the speeches before, but being here and sharing this with us means a lot. Family and friends, we would like to thank you. From those that have traveled a few minutes across town to those that have traveled internationally to be here, we thank you all for being here, for being our support and our rocks to lean on these last 4 years, and the sacrifices that you made to make it here tonight. Growing up, my dad was always a person who tried to better himself. He was always a person that was into leadership, and I think he passed that on to me, that desire. I know quotes are overused, but I grew up seeing this quote hanging up in his office every day. Persistence. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. That's attributed to our 30th President of the U.S., as Dana likes to call him, Cool Calvin. We'll again revisit this persistence and perseverance. A few weeks ago, I was driving home to Hinton from Ardmore for the weekend, and I was thinking about tonight. I was thinking about this speech. I started thinking about the first semester of class. What's the first thing that comes to your minds? First semester. Mine was histology class, that is. And as I was thinking about this, I was driving through these really small podunk towns on the way home, like Coger, Binger, Lokiba. And small town people have to find ways to entertain themselves, and small town trivia is one of these ways. So for one bonus point, Dr. Meek, how many towns do you recognize? Coger, Binger, Lokiba. I'm guessing if you're lucky, it's 2 out of 3, and you know that 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But for everyone else here, 2 out of 3, that will not get you a bonus point in histology. You have to get all 3 questions correct on the quiz, or you get no bonus point at all. Histology bonus points might be the most prized possession of first-year medical students, possibly next to Super Pong championship trophies, but we'll get back to that. These points could also be the source for the most frustration. These points, perhaps along with the very first day of histology class, where Dr. Meek showed us what we were getting ourselves into. By going through so many PowerPoint slides, my computer could not even keep up, much less me. You know on the side of your computer where you can hit the scroll down button? He was going through there so fast, I was just holding it down, and I still couldn't keep up. Yeah, it was that scary. Yet with Top Gun speed Dr. Meek over here, and those elusive histology bonus points, we still persevered. Anatomy. I'll spare you all the details of the anatomy lab, but I would say one of our biggest memories in anatomy had to be taking the final written exam. I would be surprised that if 99% of the people in this building didn't hear about that 99 times. The class of 2011's first ever finals week started the same morning as one of the worst ice storms to ever hit Tulsa, Oklahoma. On Monday morning, the lights flickered off, came on, and then went off again for several days. If you've ever come into the school from the east side where Miss Lee Stidham sits, my desk was just right there to your right by the window. I'm sure everybody remembers exactly where their desk was. It's lined up against all the windows in Founders Hall there because we had no electricity, but there was some gray light coming in. We were taking our first finals right there. We studied by candlelight, flashlight. People that had kids had them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because the schools were out. We had slumber parties. In addition to others, a big thank you to Jazzy's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Matlock. I heard you had quite a crew that week. I wouldn't bet that we all had our best scores on those finals, but we did what we know how to do, persevere. Dana might kick me off this stage if I keep going at this rate, and I know you don't want to hear every detail, but those were some of the biggest memories as a class first semester. I think most would agree that our second semester was sort of overshadowed by the word neuroanatomy. Now, I thought MMI, or medical microbiology and immunology, was pretty tough. Clay, you and Seabass drugged me through an immunology test, I think it was. Warnock, you and Crystal drugged me through an antimicrobial test. But it was really neuroanatomy that bit our class pretty hard. And through it all, we persevered. Second year of medical school was a little more exciting. Where the first year felt like undergrad on steroids to me, second year started to feel a little bit more like medicine. We were learning pathology, the study of disease, why there's even a need for physicians today, right? Second year might have been a little bit cooler too because we weren't freshmen anymore. And as far as at the school goes, we were the seniors. All of the third and fourth year students were out on rotations. So we were the top dogs then, and we knew everything. I don't care if it's high school, undergrad, or med school. When you've been there and done that, you kind of cop an attitude. The incoming students looked to us for advice like we were an attending with 20 years experience. I know this because I remember as a first year coming in, looking at the second years the same way. Okay, so back to what these Super Pong championships are about. Super Pong is like doubles tennis, only on ping pong tables. We scooted our 2 ping pong tables together and we'd play doubles. Remembering some of our serious players, Adam Bradley is pretty salty. TS being a southpaw threw everybody off. Darren Gordney with your long arms, can't get past him. Eric Martin thought he was good. That's all right, Eric. Roy Ward did too. And to all who haven't witnessed a game of Super Pong, these are not flat-footed, talk-to-your-friends kind of games. These were there are no friends, on your toes, diving on the floor or into walls sort of games. Again, thank you, Dana and Student Affairs, for allowing this to go on. In all seriousness, I know you realize that this was an outlet for us that we desperately needed between hours in the books. Thank you for repairing the holes in the walls. I told you it was serious. For new paddles when Fuertes would break them. And well, just understanding. In addition to Super Pong, there were several other ways to bring out our competitive natures. Flag football, bump set spike, which is just a made-up game that we made up on the ping pong tables. And of course, softball. So I guess now is the appropriate time to remember all for the record, especially to the faculty and staff. And if there are any MS3s out there, the class of 2011 are the OSU CHS undefeated softball tournament champions. True story. There were many memorable events during our 2 years at the school. However, I think most would agree that a few were a first of their kind. Club Spine, a club founded by 5 noble gentlemen in this class, were more than creative. A rock, scissors, paper tournament, just like you play in third grade. We had one of those tournaments there in which there was a chain link cage, costumes, faculty administration involvement. Dr. Henderson, Dr. McDonald, you still have your gear. Then they hosted a family feud battle between classes, as well as faculty and staff, just like the game show you watch on TV. I wish we had pics for all of you here of the host, judge, and the prize monkey. Finally, they also hosted a scavenger hunt that I'm still slightly bitter about. My team won the initial phase of the competition, of the hunt portion. However, the 4-seeded team in the second round of the competition was disqualified, and the 5th-seeded team had to step in. Well, they were pros at the second stage of the competition. Kind of a sore subject, I won't go into details on that. So second year over, our last finals, week over of our lives, we got to start hammering away at the books again to study for step 1 of our national boards. No rest for the weary, but again, we persevered. So the spring's on third year, and we feel like freshmen again. We're in the field bumping shoulders with residents, attendings, and scariest of all, patients. And we had to talk to these patients and do physical exams on these patients. Thank you, Dr. Eddie. After a few months, we become used to not knowing anything and realize that management of a patient is different than learning the physiology or pathology of a person or disease. Maybe we knew why, or by chance we even knew what, but we sure as heck didn't know what to do. Fourth year is a little bit different kind of stress. Maybe we're used to the questions, but now we're looking at the next phase of our life. We are on rotations at places that we are hoping to end up for the next 3, 4, or 5 years. This training may take place here in Tulsa or in a new city or state, but we're also thinking about this very night, the culmination of medical school. The first night we are called doctor, and it's real, not just a patient that mistakes us for a doctor. We shared so many good times together these 4 years, but it wasn't all good all the time. One of the life lessons that I learned in medical school was that life doesn't stop. You cannot put it on hold while you go through medical school. This class's perseverance goes a lot deeper than quizzes, tests, and even ice storms in the middle of finals. We have lost loved ones along these last 4 years. We lost grandparents. We lost parents. And we even lost one of our own. And I have no doubt in my mind that if you could talk to them today, they would clearly and emphatically say, persevere. In addition to loss, we also added to our families. We found spouses, J-Mon Churchman, and we became parents during these 4 years. Holly and Luke, perhaps several weeks premature, but we persevered. I think I had it rough going through these 4 years, and I'm not married and I don't have kids, but how about on top of studying hours and hours per day, you kept a family together? Spouses, wow. Thank you for your support and understanding. Same goes to all of you children. We cannot thank all of our family and friends enough for listening when we needed to vent, encouraging us when we were down, for understanding when not hearing from us for days. Next, I would like to talk to those faculty and staff that get to deal with us, freaked out, wide-eyed, type A, have made an A in every single class up until now, medical students. Thank you for going through, pushing us along, for putting up with our post-test rants and raves and office visits. Thank you for understanding the stress and pressure we are under. Dana, thank you for attempting to calm us down when we needed it, for listening to our ideas, especially when it's probably the 20th time that something has been changed back and forth from year to year. But Dana, and to all that contribute, thank you most importantly for finals food. And I know there are several spouses, grandmas, and mamas that contribute to this as well. Thank you. Miss Lee Stidham. For those of you that don't know Lee, she is the mom away from home of the first and second year classes. When a student walks in the very first day of school, she knows your name and makes you feel welcomed and a part of this medical school. Thank you, Lee, for encouragement, for your friendly smile, and for when we couldn't go to see family or call them on the phone, we could all count on coming and talking to Lee. We love you, Lee. Sherry Eastman. Sherry's our third and fourth year mom away from home. Our third and fourth years are spread throughout the state and the country, and at times the world. Sherry guides us on where to go, how to work out our schedules, and on life. Yeah, if you go by Sherry's office, you can expect to spend a little bit of time there. But it's because she fits the mold of what OSU is about. She, with her whole heart, cares about each and every student, and you can talk to her about anything. She puts as many hours into the lives of our students here as anyone. We love you, Sherry. To those of us obtaining master's degrees and PhDs, congratulations and thank you. Some of our graduates here with combined degrees took additional tests or had additional questions on their test along with research in that particular area. I cannot say how much I respect you. If it were not for researchers, medicine obviously wouldn't be where it is today. Your accomplishments and your perseverance are truly commendable. And to all of the class of 2011 graduating today, thank you for putting up with this hick-sounded, boot-sporting, slow-moving redneck. You can ask my parents sitting right up there. They tried to get me to move faster, and it obviously never happened. I cannot tell you how much of an honor it truly is to be a part of this class. I feel like we truly ran a gauntlet, yet we've also begun relationships and friendships that will last a lifetime. I was watching a video from Community Hospital the other day. It was on orthopedics. And the presenter was talking about Wolff's Law. Wolff's Law states that bone remodels in response to a mechanical stress. The rate and amount of remodeling and or strengthening depends upon the number and frequency of loading cycles a bone is subjected to. I feel like we've been placed under a major stress load, but we're stronger for it, and we can withstand more now. The people sitting here are truly some of the smartest, toughest, and most persevering people that I've ever met in my life. Keep on persevering, no matter what you decide to do. Persistence. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education, it won't. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much.